Hey, hello, hello, hello. This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner. And, well, I've been sitting here making a few videos, and I had this idea come into my head that I wanted to do this little folio thing. And this was my first attempt, and I screwed the pooch on this one. I messed it up. But that's okay, because now I have, I have the pieces I can use for something else. But, so we're going to do this, and you guys are going to do this right along with me in my mind as we create this from my mind to, So, what are we going to need? You can use a file folder or a hanging folder. The one that I'm using is vintage, and it doesn't have this stuff on it. So I'm going to be using a vintage one today. You could also use a piece of 12 by 12 because when you cut this down, 3 panels of it are 12 inches. So you could use that 12 inches and then just add another on the other side. So that you get 4 panels, because you need a 4-panel piece. And so we're going to be using our trimmer, some glue, scissors, bone folder, scoreboard, all that stuff. And I will be right back, and we're going to go through getting started prepping the folder and getting our first scoring done and all that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. And I've kind of thought about it, and I think that 7 inches is a pretty good size for this one. So I will put measurements in the description. So I'm going to take my file folder, and with my folded end, I'm going to put this into my trimmer, and I'm going to be cutting this down to 7 inches right there. Okay? So I'm going to cut this down to 7 inches. I'm going to save that because we're going to cut pieces out of that here in a second. And then with my fold out this way, I want to cut this to 8 inches. Okay? Alright. So this is my basic piece. And then in addition to that, I'm going to be cutting this part here that has the little folds in it. We're going to get rid of that. Let's just get rid of it right now. Okay, we're going to hold on to it. Now we're going to cut a piece that is about 2 3/4 by 7. Okay. And then with this piece, we're going to be cutting a piece that is about 1 1/2, 1 3/4 inches wide. Let's go this way. It's easier. Okay. Maybe less. Let's look at 1 1/4. That's awful wide. Let's look at 1 1/4. Like 1 1/4. And then this needs to be 4 inches. I am just going to verify that that is 4 inches. Because my trimmer doesn't have a 4-inch on it. Alright, 4 inches, and then I'm just going to doink, just barely tug it back, okay? That piece. And then this is going to be the piece that I'm going to cut that curve out of. And so I am going to be using this piece for that. Okay, so that's all of the main pieces. And when I get back, we're going to do a little scoring. I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to open this up, have the outside facing up, and we're going to go to 3 7/8, which is 1 tick before 4. 1, a 2, a 3. 3 or 4 times very lightly is much better than one big, okay? And then again at 3 7/8, 1 tick before the 4. That is all the scoring. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and fold these in, line them up, and burnish our folds. And if we did this right, we should be able to fold this and it should be nice and even right here. Okay, so that's our base over there. Now this piece, which is 7 inches, we want this to be, I'm going to put a finger pull in here. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up with my ruler, find my midpoint, and then I'm going to go ahead and punch like a half circle here. Let me grab my circle punch. I want a big one. Okay. I want a really big one. Ugh. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to make sure that I have that in the center. Punch that out, okay? You don't have to do it that big. All right, so I got that one. So now, let's see, where are we at? So we have pocket, band, and then this one is going to be our semi, okay? Now, I'm a little bit lucky because I have one of these cutter sets. But if you don't have this, you can use one of those rulers, or if you have a compass, you can do that, of course. All right, so I happen to have this handy dandy template that I already made. All right, so let me turn this over. I'm going to put this on there. You guys can't see that. Let me put some ink on it. That should help it a little bit. All right. Yeah, that helps. All right, there. So that is my template. And I'm just going to line up the side and the bottom, and then I'm going to go ahead and trace that with a pencil. Oh, don't you move. No moving. And I'm going to cut that out with a pair of scissors. Okay? Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to ink everything. If you're going to ink now. Okay? So, go ink if you want to ink, and I'll be right back. So, I've inked all my pieces, but I made a change. Instead of having this piece that's 4 by 1 1/4, I went ahead and got one that was 5 by 4 1 1/4. And I am just going to score this on both sides at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to fold this back. And I'm going to go ahead and ink at that edge. Okay? Because I just decided I wanted that to be different, that's all. Alrighty. So if we're going to put mats in here, and I'm thinking we're going to, our mats need to be this first one is going to be 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, and the other side of this would be 3.5, and then these are going to be 3 3/4. So you're going to need 4 that are 3.5 and 4 that are 3 3/4. Okay? So pick out the paper you want to use. You're going to cut those. Then you may or may not want to put paper on here. If you do, this piece is 1 1/4 inches wide, so you'll want a 1 inch by 3 3/4 on this one. This one is 7 inches by 2 3/4, so you're going to want something that is 6 3/4 by 2.5. And then this one overall is 3.5 by 4 3/4. So 4.5 by 3 1/4. Okay, those are the mats we're going to want. So go ahead and get those cut, get them all, and come on back. Don't bother inking these because, you know, we're going to have to do some cutting here. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so this was the first one I cut. This is the 6 3/4 by 2.5, and I just wanted to see how it looked on here, and I like the look, so I went ahead and cut all the other pieces. So firstly, I have 4 pieces. That are 3 1/4 by 6 3/4, and then 4 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then I have 1 piece that's going to go on here, but I cut it in the wrong direction, so I'm going to have to recut this one because it should go this way. So I'm going to recut that one. And then I have this one, which is going to go on here, okay? Like that. So let me recut this one real quick. All right, so I want this one to be 3.5 inches wide. Let me clean this first. Okay, so we want this to be 3.5 inches wide. And then 4 3/4 inches. Okay. Alrighty. So this piece is straightforward, so I'm just going to get it done. This piece I'm just going to ink and put down. Alright. Making sure I got my writing going, you know, in the right direction, which I really guess doesn't matter because I could just flip this over if I want to. Okay. All right, so we got that one on there. So that's 2 pieces. And then we're going to deal with this one. So on this one, we want to cut that piece, but we want it to fit. So what I'm going to do is move it out to twice the distance and up twice the distance that I would want this to be in. And then I'm just going to mark the back. Okay. And then I'll trim that by hand. Got a little wonky donkey there. Okay. And then that will fit perfectly. So I'm going to ink that, get it glued down, and then I'm going to ink all of these off camera, because really, who wants to sit here and watch me do this, right? I'm going to ink those, and then when I come back, we'll get those all glued down. You know, I'll probably do the outside ones, no problem, but the inside ones will be a little different. Now, okay, so here's the thing. So this is a piece of historic newspaper, okay? Now, I purposely made sure that I didn't use anything that had to do with, like, World War II for obvious reasons. But there's not going to be anything really too risky in this because it's, you know, this is a newspaper from 1923, okay? So realistically, is there going to be anything in here that's going to be overly racy? No. If you're using book pages, you know, people get offended, so just make sure there's no foul language or anything in it. Otherwise, have a blast. All right? So now I'm going to put these down on here. These are the wider ones. The wider ones go in the center. I'm not necessarily going to put these, you know, in order, per se. But, you know, I'm going to, like this one. This is a picture of Nikola Lenin. Do I want to have him in my book? Probably not. But if I put him over here, he's going to be under my pocket. So think. Murder. I like that. And, you know, I'll just take a look. And I'll make sure that, you know, I don't offend with where I put stuff. Okay? So I'm going to ink these all up and get them down. And then when I come back, we're going to start assembling this. There is there are some special things we're going to be doing with this one. I'll be right back. All right, so discovery process. I wrote this down wrong. So this is 3 7/8 across, and for whatever reason, I put 3 1/4, which I cut these at 3 1/4, which gave me too big of a piece on the side. This one's not so bad; I can hide it. This one I couldn't. Okay, so I changed this one, and this one is now 3 5/8, which is 1 mark past the 3 1/2. So that's a oopsie. I'll fix it for the other ones, but the ones on the inside I didn't get fixed. Okay, because I glued it down and then went, wow, that was a mess. All right, so I made sure that I tried to keep these across as, you know, even as possible, across top and bottom, so that the gap is even. And then, now, first thing first, we're going to put this in. Now, you remember that piece that we cut off the bottom of the file folder that has all the lumps in it? You know, all the scores? You could use this and make this a gusseted pocket if you want to. If not, you could just glue it down straight. I'm going to go ahead and let it, you know, make it a gusset. So this piece is 4 3/4. So I'm going to cut it in half, give or take. Eyeball it. I'm going to do some wedging. Put those in the monkey. Okay. And I'm going to glue these onto the back of this. Fold out. Right on the edge. Press that down. Same thing on the other side. Some glue. Right on the edge. I'm not going to gusset the bottom though, because for this kind of a pocket, I just think that's a little redundant. And I could have cut this in half, you know, down the length and made this smaller, but I'm okay with it. So, glue on here. If you're going to put tape on this, you put tape on the outside edge, not the inside edge. Okay? Eek. Glue over here. And then I'm just going to line up the bottom, edge to edge, corner to corner, and put that down. Okay? Now I have a gusseted pocket. Glue this shut, now that I have it all lined up. And there's my pocket. Okay. Fabulous. It has a little bit of give, but not a whole bunch, okay? So now let's go over to the other side. That's where this thing's gonna go. It's gonna go right here. And so again, I'm just gonna put some glue on two sides. I'm not gonna gusset this because it's just a tuck. Then we're going to put this on, lining it up to the corner. There we go. So now I have a tuck here and a pocket over here. And the next part of this is going to be this. Okay? So I'm going to put some glue on these little flaps. And then I'm going to put this in. Now I can put it here, I can put it here, but I'm going to put it over here. About halfway down. Just want to make sure I get it nice and even, top to bottom kind of thing, side to side. Now, check everything to make sure that it all folds up. And it still does. Okay. So this is by basic inside. There's going to be something else here. We're going to work on that in a minute. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over, making sure that I still have my top end at the top. And then I'm going to recut these two pieces, and I'm going to put these in. Put these on, okay? So I'm going to recut these, and then I'm going to glue them all down. Okay, so I'll be back. All right, so in my mind, what I have are some cascading pockets right here. So I want to have like three pockets. I don't know if I want them to just come like this or if I want them to flip up. But I guess we could just do them, you know, as stepped pockets. So I have here some more of the file folder, and I cut it to 3 5/8. And I am going to cut this into pockets. So let's see. The first one I think is going to be like 2 1/2. And then the next one will be like 3 1/2. I think we're going to get 4 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the process. This is how my brain works, okay? All right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 4 stepped pockets on here. Like that. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So now I'm going to get this out of here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and measure these up so that I know what sizes I need. Okay, so I need 3 3/8 by 2 1/4, and I need 2 of those. And then I need one that is 3 3/8 by 3 1/4, and then one that is 3 3/8 by 4 1/4. Okay, so we're going to get our newsprint out, you know, our scrap newsprint, and we're going to go ahead and cut these, and we're going to make sure that this is going in the right direction. So 3 3/8 this way, and then we'll cut our pieces. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these outside pieces because I don't want them. All right, so 3 3/8, which is 1 mark past the 3 1/4. It's that line between 3 1/4 and 3 1/2. Take this piece off the bottom. Well, let's cut our pieces first. I need 2 that are 2 1/4. 2 1/4. 2 1/4. So those are my 2 pieces for my first 2 pockets. And then I'm going to need one that's 3 3/8 by 3 1/4. So 3 3/8. 3 1/4. And then I'll need one that is 4 1/4. We're not going to get there. All right, 3 3/8. Ooh, just barely. 4 1/4. I'm going to get a different piece because that's going to have a really wide white on it, and none of the other ones do. Let me see what I got here. That's going to have it because I don't have another one. I mean, I do, but I don't, you know. I don't want to cut up another piece just for this. Let me go see what I have in the scrap bin. I do have a scrap. So let me go ahead and take this off. Okay, then we'll straighten this end up. Okay, we need to see if we've got 3 3/8 wide here by 4 1/4. Okay, so luckily I had a scrap that would work. Yeah, that's gonna work fine. Okay. So now, the next thing is I want to put finger notches in these. So we'll start with these two. And then we'll use this to make our notches in these. Look at this so I can see it. And this one. Okay, so now I have all of those. We're going to be doing some inking. So I'm just going to put this on here. Nip that out. Put this one on here where I want it. Nip that part out. This one on here. There we go. That one's interesting. It's got an article about Einstein. And this one. All right, so now I'm going to ink everything, and I'm going to put these on, glue them down. Okay, so ink all of this, and then glue these down, and then we're going to put them in. I'll be right back. All right, so I went ahead and I inked all of these, and I have them ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is decide where the first one goes. And I want it to go about like that. It gives me about 1 inch at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one in. And we're going to go about 1 inch from the top. Go. And then the next one's going to go about 1 inch down. And then the next one, about an inch below that one. And this one I'm not going to glue the bottom. I'm just going to glue the two sides. And then this last one, about an inch or so below that one. And this one I'll glue the bottom on. And that leaves about 3/4 of an inch to an inch at the bottom. Okay, so we have like a slot over here. We have a belly band here, a step pocket here. You could put a fifth one on if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. And then one big gusseted pocket over here. Now, these fold in, and then this folds. So now I can put another pocket here, and another pocket here, and all I need is my little bits of leftovers. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice big slash pocket on this side. So I'm going to cut this down to about 5 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a slash pocket. Okay. And that's going to go right there. And I'm going to make just an up and down belly band for this side. So we're going to go about 1.25 inches for here. And then I'm going to cut a piece of newspaper that's 1 inch for this one, and I'll cut a piece that'll fit for this. So let's see. That's good for height. So we'll go ahead and cut 1 inch of this. And put a little ink on here. Okay. That out of the way so I can see my height here. All right. And I'm just going to kind of guesstimate the middle of the page. There we go. Okay, and then my slash pocket, let me grab a piece of this newsprint that I messed up earlier. And again, I'm going to put it in the corner. I'm going to move it up twice the distance that I want, and then move it over twice the distance that I want. going to go ahead and draw some lines. And I'm going to cut this to size. And right there. And that will go right there. So I'm going to get that ink, get that done, and then I'll be back. All right, so I'm done with this one. I'm happy with it. I thought about putting a closure on it, but I don't really feel the need to. If I wanted to, I could just put a belly band on it. I could just use an elastic too. That would make a great closure for this one. Just a regular elastic hairband really would work pretty good on this. So let's take a look at what we've got. There's nothing on the outside other than the newsprint. When you open it up, you have a very nice belly band here that you can put something good size into. You have a little slash pocket over here. Then you open this side, you have another slash pocket. You have a nice big belly band here where you can put like an appointment book or something if you wanted to, certainly. And then you have your 4-step pockets. So you have this pocket, which is very deep. This pocket, nice and deep. This pocket, which goes all the way down to here. And then this short pocket. And then you have this gusseted pocket over here that has all this extra play in it. Okay? That's it. So, that's how my mind works. That's how these things come about. So, we have this now. And I think I'm going to do this one as a kit. As I started doing it, I was like, this would make a really good kit. So I'm going to leave the measurements in the description, but you could also pick up a kit for this. I'll put a link to the kit in the Etsy shop in the description in case you wanted to pick it up, where you'll get, a few sheets of the newsprint, and you'll get the folder and all the pieces pre-cut, so you can just assemble this, okay? That's it. That's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, hit the button for me. What the heck? Subscribe. Ring that little bell. Check out the community tab and see what I've got going on, including these kinds of free classes. And scoot on over to the Facebook group. Join that and see what we got going on over there. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye.